everyone, welcome to the Zwift race analysis video. This is the Giant Gravel Crushers Race 1, Week 1, in the Americas time zone. There were around 50 riders who showed up to the race, and I believe around 40 finished. So here we are at the start of the race. It's a pretty slow start because the main portion of the route is a hill climb, so that is when riders are going to be using most of their energy. The race was on one lap of valley to mountaintop, a route that was 5 kilometers long with a couple hundred feet of climbing. It goes up the Temple KOM reverse, and it was taking, in previous time zones, it took riders from around 10 to 15 minutes, some at around 20 minutes. The Giant Crew Crushers series is a back-to-back race series, so one race after another, but I was just going for one race because I didn't really have the energy to do a second race after this. Here you can see that I'm already off the front of the race, and I'm starting to get a gap from the rest of the riders. The gap is starting to go to around 2 seconds, and the smallest gap is now 1 second. I'm doing around 5 to 6 watts per kg because here I thought that this was the main climb of the race and I'm just going to keep going up from here. But really, this was just the small climb before the actual climb. There were a few familiar names in the race that riders whom I followed, and some of them follow me, and some of them I've just seen around on Zwift. So at the beginning of the race, some of them said that I was going to win the race, and I wasn't so sure about that, but here I am and I won the race. Since it was a hill climb race, I had the advantage over the rest of the group, so the gap was quickly increasing. It went up to around 13 seconds just from this portion of the climb. I'm still doing around 5 to 6 watts per kg, and I'm keeping the pace very fast. So here I realized that it's not actually just one big climb. It's one small climb, then a flat portion, and then another climb. So here you can see the gap starts to close, and the gap is down to around 9-10 seconds. So I'm getting pretty worried here, and at this point I'm not really sure that I'm going to win the race. As soon as I started the main climb, I brought the pace back up to around 6 watts per kg, and I tried to get a solid gap from the group. The gap was still closing, and it was around 9 seconds for the main pack, which consisted of around 20 to 30 riders, some of which were pretty strong and could probably catch up to me. So here you can see that H. Taka is starting to close the gap. He's doing around 6 watts per kg, sometimes more, and the gap is now down to 7 seconds. Some of the other riders are starting to follow. Craig Martin from Herd, and another rider from Giant AHDR, and they're starting to close the gap. The gap is still holding steady around 7 to 9 seconds from those riders, and I'm just trying to hold on here. There's only 1 mile left in the race. I'm still not really sure that I can pull this win off, but I'm going to give it my all and see what I've got. The Temple KOM climb is around 5 to 6 minutes depending on how hard you go. In this effort, I actually did it in under 5 minutes. I did around 4.5 minutes. So here you can see the gap is continuing to close, and the gap went down to 6 seconds for a brief moment, but then I brought the pace back up and I started to gain my lead back. You can see here, since this is a sped up clip, that the gap is going back up to 10-11 seconds, now 12 seconds, and I'm starting to get pretty confident that I can pull this win off. I just need to keep the pace high at around 5 or 6 watts per kg, and I've got the win in the bag. So you can see on the mini map here that I'm pointing to that the group is very strung out. and there's not really a main group anymore. It's pretty much just hill climb now. First fastest rider up the climb pretty much wins the race. Going into the race, I was already pretty confident, and now I was even more confident with my climbing. This is because I had the highest watts per kg of the entire field because of how light I am and my high watts per kg. That benefits me on the climb since I'm a lighter rider, so this is probably my specialty since it does not involve sprinting in a pack sprint or anything like that. Coming into the final stretch, I'm very confident that I have the win now. I'm still keeping the pace high just to increase the gap and hold it steady just in case anything crazy happens. And I now have 20 seconds on the nearest rider. I'm starting to ease off of it because I already know I have the win, and it's the final corner. There's 0.3 miles left. I just have to round the corner. It's a slight incline, but not too big of an incline, and I have the win. If you look at my power graph, I probably set a 10-minute new personal best, which is pretty good considering that the day before I did an FTP. I did a time trial, which basically turned into an FTP test, and I increased my FTP by 6 watts. So here I just eased off because I already pretty much won the race, and right now I'm just celebrating and enjoying the moment. Overall, I was very happy with this race, and this is definitely going to be a race that I'm going to remember, as it is only my second win in B, my other one being the other race that I have linked in the description. And that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.